Hello and welcome back to the Guns and Outdoors channel. I really hope that everybody is doing well out there. Today we're going to have a look at something that I just picked up. The Holosun 509T red dot. Very excited about that. We're going to be comparing that to the classic Trijicon RMR Type 2. I'm getting more and more into red dots these days, and so frankly is everybody else. I do want to say a couple things though. Let me throw out a disclaimer when it comes to dots, as I like to call them. When you're working on your shooting skills and your marksmanship, it's very important to develop your skill set to try to master those fundamentals. The ability to be able to shoot really, really well with iron sights, at least when I started out to 30 feet and then ultimately progressed into 45 feet and beyond, that's what you want to do. Resist the temptation to jump right to the dots. It's going to take hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of hours to make sure that you're really proficient and where you want to be. It's also going to take really good instruction. For me over the years, I've been fortunate enough to be able to, one, afford it, and two, have the opportunity to train with a lot of really great firearms instructors and coaches. That's right, they're not all instructors. A good instructor is also a coach. I consider myself pretty good at this point with iron sights. I want to say a couple years back, I remember taking a big dog class with an extremely well-known and respected firearms instructor on the East Coast. And I asked him during the class, I think we were on day 2, hey, when are you ever going to switch over to red dots? Because we were competing in that. And he told me he's going to switch over when he sees that all his other students are starting to show up with him. And lo and behold, fast forward a little bit, I was on Instagram a couple months back, checking out his classes again, seeing if anything's changed in terms of updates. And this well-known instructor was actually running the dot. So if it's good enough for the big dog, then it's good enough for me and therefore us. So there you go. Let's dive in here. Stand by. Welcome back to the tabletop review. Everyone's got different theories on how red dot pistols help them. And for most part, you always hear about fast target acquisition. And that's true. But I will say one thing. You have to develop your muscle memory so you can pick up the dot. And oh yeah, it's a thing. We've all experienced coming out of the holster, trying to present and doing this, hey, where's my dot? Where's my dot? Swirly swirl thing to try to pick it up. And finally you pick it up and what'd you do? You blew the drill. So you actually came out slower, because we don't have that muscle memory established and we're switching over. I would also tell you, if you ever get into dots, I must have been told 4 different techniques. One is come up, bring it into your vision like a bowling. One is come over the top, come down. One is draw up higher with your draw stroke, then present out. All in all, we've got to figure out the method that best works for us, develop that cognitive muscular conditioning, aka muscle memory, so that we can adjust and break away from the irons and get good. And that's going to take practice. The only way to do this that I found is just no whiz-bang tricks. It's old school dry fire practice. You just going to have to sit in your man cave, make your gun safe, and just literally present, draw, present, and get more and more comfortable picking up your dot. Hang with me on this next part. The biggest thing for me anyways when it comes to dots is they remove this concept of anticipation. Have you ever shot, presented, and pulled the gun and your shots go low left? That's not your sights, that's you, and it's not the gun. What you're doing is, it's a term that Larry Vickers calls el snacho. You're anticipating the break and you're actually jerking the trigger. Another thing to note when you're shooting red dots is you actually focus on the target, not the dot itself. That's completely opposite when you're shooting iron sights on pistols, where you focus on the front sight post and not the target. What I found when I shoot red dots is my marksmanship and precision goes up even to the next level. So moving on to the tabletop. The things that we all need to consider when it comes to pistol optics is they need to be very tough and very durable. Otherwise, they're just not going to last and we're not getting our money's worth. They're going to fall off, the optics are going to break, they're going to be useless. Right now, in terms of this video, 2 of the toughest optics out there on the market are the Holosun 509T and the legendary Trijicon RMR 2.0. What you're going to notice right off the bat is these are slightly different categories. This is an enclosed emitter, so it's all sealed, right, protecting from the elements. The RMR is going to be open style. So you will hear that mud and stuff can get in here. I have never had that, even when I've been running in the rain. I haven't had that issue. This guy's always functioned, but your mileage may vary. First up is the Holosun 509T. It's a very, very tough little optic, and it has great reviews. The T in the name actually stands for titanium, which is the material used to construct the housing. It is IP67 waterproof and fog-proof, and it has a waterproof rating of up to 1 meter for roughly 30 minutes. It can probably handle a lot more, so you should definitely be able to run it to your heart's content on rainy, snowy, wet conditions without having any issues at all. The 509T is designed to be used for various firearms, and that's the part I like. It's made from the ground up for shotguns, pistols, crossbows, rifles. So it's definitely shockproof. It's also got a side load compartment for a CR1632 lithium battery. So that makes it really easy to swap out. Unlike the RMR, where you actually have to take it off the slide in order to replace the battery. Lastly, the 509T is built tough. It's gonna run on your handgun easily. So all in all, very robust optic, and it's built like a little tank. The Trijicon RMR Type 2. Man, this is the gold standard. All right. The absolute gold standard. One of the toughest red dots on the market, bar none. Everything about this guy is great, except for a couple minor things. It's a very robust optic. The housing is actually made of a forged aluminum versus the titanium, but very, very durable. Now, this guy is in a different class because this is an open emitter versus a sealed, closed emitter. But your mileage is going to vary. You do hear that these can get caked up with mud. I've been in some classes where I did pistol rifle, laying on the ground, pouring down rain, truly muddy fields. I did get this guy caked, holsters, my whole right side, everything. But this guy still functioned. I could still saw my LED. I saw light on there. It was still rocking and rolling. This does have the waterproof rating as well. The Holosun 509T does have clear glass, and it has that slight blue tint that you get on red dots. But trust me, and go ahead and look, so does the RMR. Side by side, can you tell a difference? I can't. These guys are very, very similar with 1x magnification. They look identical to me. Even the structure of the dots to my eye that you won't be able to see on the camera and the sight picture, very, very similar. Sure, this one has a little bit squared with a little more round, but this guy is also squared with a little round at the top. So the edge in the comparison, the 509, I think these guys are extremely, extremely similar. You may get a little more visual real estate with the Holosun over the RMR, but to me, I could use either one of these without issue. The dot quality, even of the dot itself and the brightness, both of these were very, very good. I tried it in daylight and nighttime. The reticle of the 509T. This is where you get a slight advantage versus the dot on the red dot. This has what Holosun calls multi-reticle or MRS. Basically, it means you get two different reticle options and that are programmed into it. The first one is just a 2 MOA dot. If I hold this down for 3 seconds, it'll switch. So you just get a standard dot. The other one is a 32 MOA ring with 4 positioning points with a dot in the center. All right? Again, if you hold this puppy, the minus sign down for 3 seconds, it switches between the two. It may not show up good on camera, but there you have it. You can have the circle with the dot or the dot only. Buttons are very tactile on both. I actually like the Holosun's a little bit better than the RMR. For me, I'm kind of old school, so I'm actually going to rock the dot. If I can get it to switch back. 3 seconds. There it is. Yep, I'm going to rock the dot because it gives me great precision and it's quick. In terms of dot size, with our Trijicon RMR, they do have a lot of options. This one is the 1 MOA. Okay, but they have a 2 MOA, a 3.25, and a 6.25. Personally, I prefer smaller reticles. I like the 2 MOA versus this 1 MOA. You can bloom it up to get the desired effect, pick it up visually, but I found that the 2 MOA is my sweet spot. All right, one more time, we're going to double back and look at the glass. If I can try to get them both in the picture here. Look at the lettering. They're almost identical. You see that? So I'm giving these guys the same. What I like about the Holosun is you get more options. You get this shake awake technology, you get the multiple reticle system, and you get this automatic reduction intensity adjustment in an auto mode where it'll go up and down for you. I think this is an advantage of the 509T over the RMR Type 2, in my opinion, with the features. When it comes to size, both of these have the exact same footprint. Okay, notice I said footprint. The Holosun 509T is compatible with the RMR. So from a height, width perspective, they're going to be very, very similar. Battery life. The 509T uses a combination of solar power and battery. So depending on the settings that you utilize, if you use dot only, it can go 50,000 hours of battery life. If you use the dot with the ring, it knocks it down to 15,000 hours if you have the circle mode. As I said earlier, you can also side load the battery tray on this. So that means you can swap out your sights without removing it from your gun. And that's awesome. And again, the shake awake technology, the motion, will help save your battery life. So instant on, instant off. It'll automatically turn it off. I think the default setting of non-use is 10 minutes by default, and you can adjust that. As soon as you grab it, it senses motion, it'll pop back on. The RMR doesn't have that yet. I think that Holosun is setting the new gold standard for which all new and current red dot manufacturers should follow from a feature set and an engineering perspective. I'm hoping that other manufacturers will take advantage of some of these latest innovations. The Trijicon RMR uses a CR2032, and that's pretty standard. You can get those anywhere. Now, it's going to power your sight for years on the optic setting number 4. It's got a fantastic, super long battery life. And if you're in a good mode of swapping out your batteries once a year, you're never going to have a problem with this sight dying on you. The RMR has 8 brightness settings, but it's got the one flaw. Being first out of the gate, you have to put the batteries in from the bottom, and that's unfortunate because, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to have to take your slide off your gun just to change out your battery. And then when you go to remount it and re-Loctite everything, you should reconfirm your 0 by heading back out to the range. You can't sugarcoat it. It is a hassle, and it's definitely a knock against the RMR. But again, in terms of brightness and clarity, this guy is pretty good. I'm going to go with the 509T as the winner in this category because of the side load battery having the same footprint as the RMR. There's a ton of aftermarket support as well as companies that can cut slides for you these days. Now, I prefer pistols to come optics ready versus ones that don't. But if you have an older one and you want to get your slide cut, have at it. From a price comparison perspective, again, your mileage may vary depending on where you shop. Now, I have seen some fantastic sales on this, but on average, the MSRP, these are high. So you're going to be spending a big chunk of change. These are on the higher end of the spectrum in terms of price points, so there's no doubt about that. For example, I would say if you can't afford a 509 titanium, go ahead and consider other options, right? Goes without saying. Take a look at the 508T. It's going to be half the price of the 509, but keep in mind it's going to be the open aperture style of enclosure for your red dot. All right. In the end, both of these are extremely great choices. They're going to be durable. They're going to be tough. Both sights are waterproof and shockproof. They both have incredibly high standards, so you can't go wrong with any of these. Technically, if you have the waterproof Trijicon seal underneath this can go down to 66 feet. So advantage on the waterproof depth of Trijicon. In terms of overall winner, I'm going to go with the 509. The emitter, the shake awake, the solar diode, the dimensions, the footprint. This guy is giving you a lot of great options. He does have the mailbox type enclosed design versus him being open. We've talked about that several times today. I believe this is the future. These guys are going to get smaller. They're going to have better battery life, more features. In terms of glass and clarity, we've spoken about that several times. you would think these guys came off the exact same manufacturing plant. What I love about this puppy as well is the side load battery tray. In terms of accessories, both come with the cleaning cloths, instruction manuals, that sort of thing, the tools you need to install them. The prevailing wisdom, however, if you need a quote go to war gun, it's Trijicon. Trijicon for the legendary durability and reliability. If you don't mind paying more and you want the best, then right now, that's it. It's the gold standard. However, Holosun has come a long way over the years, and in most cases, for the average Joe, this is all you really need. In summary, for us pew-pew guys, we're going to be able to get our pew-pew on by running Holosuns, and we're not going to have any worries. Both have lifetime warranties, so as long as you don't abuse it, you're going to be able to get coverage should something break. There you have it. There's a quick look at your two fantastic red dot pistol sights. Either one of these guys is going to do you right for many, many years to come. Do me a favor. If you love my AK-inspired cleaning mat, that's worthy of a thumbs up. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the Guns and Outdoors channel while you're at it. And as always, we're out of here. See ya.